There's another story I want to share with you. It's from newspapers, and I worked in newspapers for about 5 years. And October of 1994, I was working at my hometown newspaper, the Lancaster News. That's in South Carolina, and um, I get a call from Barbara Howell, and she's one of the editors of the paper. And she says, "Hey, there's a situation out in the county, out in the Kent Creek area. This guy's on his porch, and he won't surrender to the sheriff's department." And so I head out that way. And I grew up out in Camp Creek. I knew the area well. And this was out, if you're familiar with Lancaster, it's out near Five Points in the Camp Creek community, going about half a mile out, probably towards Monroe there, that road that leads you to Monroe. But anyway, I get out there. And at this point, I've been working at the paper. I'd interned at the paper and did some part-time work before I went full-time. So I developed a good relationship with sheriff's deputies and all those guys. And part of that, too, was my dad did photography for the sheriff's office and the police department for years in the 70s and 80s. So I used to go, there's several times I rode to crime scenes with my dad when I was growing up, and he wouldn't let me get out. But I knew these guys. There was a trust there. And so I get out, and I kind of, one of the majors was out there, and I said, "Hey, can I slide down to the left between that house and the other house where this guy is?" He was on the porch saying he wasn't coming out. There was a shotgun up on the porch. It's pretty serious stuff. But what had happened there was this guy was drinking all night long, just got terribly drunk. And that morning, he wanted his wife to make some breakfast for him. And he'd stayed up all night, and she was fed up. She said, "No, I'm not making you breakfast. You need to get it yourself." And he got mad at that. He didn't like that. And so he fired a shotgun into the roof of their living room. And that's not a good idea anytime, but it's certainly not a good idea when there's school children waiting down the road on the school bus. And the pellets from that shotgun came down and hit some of those kids. Kids panicked, ran inside of the parents. Parents called 911, and out comes, half a dozen sheriff's deputies. It's some pretty serious stuff when guns start getting fired. So I get out there while this guy is on the porch. They allow me to kind of hide behind some bushes down to the left side of that house. And eventually, after, I want to say, I think it was about 45 minutes. It wasn't that long. He finally surrendered. I got a picture of him put down the gun, the shotgun, and they go up and get him. And at that point, I'm backing up to photograph him in cuffs. He's going to the car. I'm backing up to the road. The road's to my back. His house is in front of me. So he's coming away from his house, and I'm photographing him. Well, about that time, his father pulled up, and his dad wasn't too happy to see his son in handcuffs. He wasn't happy at all. He goes over and starts yelling at the deputies, and he decides to take some frustration out on me. And he starts coming at me. He starts yelling and starts cussing, and saying the media it shouldn't be here. And he starts coming at me, and I'm at that moment I start raising my big lens. I've got a 300 millimeter lens on a monopod, and I grab the monopod with the lens up like this. I'm ready to defend myself. And out of nowhere, one of the deputies, right about the time the guy's father is getting close to me, a deputy just goes horizontal midair and grabs that guy and grabs this man and takes him down right in front of me. I wish I'd gotten a shot of that, but I was just holding my monopod up with a 300 millimeter. And my buddy Murray Glenn was there. Murray was on staff with us at the Lancaster. He's a really talented writer, really a go-getter. He'd get out and do anything back then. And I'm thinking, well, I know Murray's got my back. I know Murray is. I'm sure he's right behind me, ready to help me out. I turn around over my shoulder. Murray's 100 yards down the road, heading to his car. He's getting out of there, But thankfully, that deputy came in and just took that guy down. They took him down hard. They did not arrest the father, but they took him down so he couldn't, come after me. And that's the kind of thing you do in newspapers. And newspapers are really fun. You do so many different things. You're seeing just so much. I mean, there were days when you're photographing, schools, and then you're going to photograph a courtroom, and then you're heading over to photograph maybe some a business downtown. You're just seeing so many different things and so many different walks of life. That's what I really enjoyed about it. Um, but anyway, that was just a interesting story, and I'll always remember looking over my shoulder and seeing Murray just booking it down the road, as fast as he could.